So you just saw in the intro the sort of bulk of the track really at full speed. The first thing to point out to you is that you need to be in open G tuning for this. A lot of people call it the Keith tuning because so many of his classics were all in open G. And you'll notice a lot of the time Keith would have played a Telecaster or something of this ilk, but he played loads of guitars, but often a Telecaster. And he would have removed the low E string off the guitar because, quite honestly, he just never used it. Okay, so I'm quickly going to give you some tuning notes. The way to approach an open G tuning, your top string, even though we don't really use it all that much, is going to be tuned to a D. Your A string is going to be tuned to a G. Your D string remains a D string, which is good. Your G string remains a G string, which is even better. Your B string remains a B string. And your high E changes across to a D. Okay, they are your tuning notes. Okay, right, so you can see I've moved a little bit closer. The bulk of our work on this track is certainly going to be found between frets, fret number 9 and fret number 5. That's where a lot of our business areas are going to be. So just follow me through here and I'll take you through step by step. This is riff number 1. Easy, right? So what you do is, in nearly all of the track, you're going to have a very similar situation at each point, which is you're going to be doing this sliding thing with your third finger, and you're going to be sliding across 2 strings. So if I play it one more time, you'll be able to eyeball it and you'll see what I mean. At this point, for this riff, we're starting, we're on the middle 2 strings, so we're going to go from the 10th fret on the D and G string. I'm going to call them the D and G string, even though that they are tuned to different, the tuning across the guitar will be different, although those 2 strings will be the same. But we're going to refer to them as D and G, okay? Or I'm going to refer to them as their normal name. So what we're doing is we're taking our middle finger, and what we're doing is we're flattening it off across the 2 strings, and we're going to slide from 10 to 9. Then index finger is going to go down on the 7. Okay, so you've got, when you get to the 7, you're doing the same thing with your index finger. That's covering those 2 strings. And at this point, you're just going to be plucking those 2 strings on their own. So predominantly, you're doing downstrokes here. So ready? So one more time. Once you've got that bit down, you're then going to take third finger up, 10th fret across the A and D strings, and you're going to go, yeah, so, and you're doing the same thing, A and D string, sliding from the 10 to the 9, okay? Once you've done, this is where you're up to then, okay, so, this is where it changes slightly. Index finger goes down on 2 strings, the A and D string. And you're going to hit those 2 strings. Okay, play it one more time through to there. And then you're going to, so you do 2 strums there, 2 downstrokes across those 2 strings, the A and D. And then what you're going to do is your third finger is going to go down on the D string for 1 strum, and then off again for the last strum. Okay, so it's the only time in that whole first section where you're only playing, you're not playing a double with this finger, you're playing just 1 string there. Okay, so I'm going to play it one more time. Hopefully you can see it okay. One more time. That's riff number 1 done. Okay, riff number 2. Okay, this is quite a straightforward one, so we're not going to dwell unless we have to for detail. You can work on the assumption that everything is downstrokes here. Okay. index finger has just finished the bar before, and your index finger has finished there across the A and D string. It kind of stays there as well for this section. What you're doing is going like this. You're going three hits. First one's kind of percussive. So it's almost like that. Okay, so third finger going down on the D string, index finger staying still. So you're still playing the two strings together, as you can see me moving them there. So that's what you're after. Index finger going down every other beat essentially. Index finger stays still, third finger goes down, and little finger goes down after that on the 9th and 10th fret. So okay, so it's da 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 da. So between each beat, essentially, you're playing just those two there, aren't you? So you're going 3 times at the beginning, back to the beginning. So everything kind of goes back to that index finger, okay? To finish this riff off, you just played that after the the little finger was down. You then go one, two, three, four, and that is just your third finger going down on the D string. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, both strings being plucked. Third finger just implements the change on the D string on the 9th fret. On to riff number 3 now. Riff number 3 is kind of they're all little adjustments to the previous one. Here we go. You're going to go back to that place you started, 10th fret, D and G strings. Bring the index back after you've played that. 7th fret. So, okay, so you're doing the 2 strings together, D and G, you're not moving away from that at this point. 10th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 7th fret. So, yeah, so. And then you just do that little slide back. The same thing, only on the string above, 10th fret. The strings above, I should say, on the D and A strings. Yeah, and you're going from the 10th back to the 9th. So 10, 7, 9, 7, up 2 strings, A and D. Okay, for the beginning of that. We're going to do that little thing to finish it off again, which we had from the previous bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the same thing we ended the previous bar with, which is index on the A and D strings for 3 beats. Sorry, 2 beats. Third beat is with the third finger down on the D string. Last one is back to just the index finger being flat across the 2 strings. Okay, this is what we've got up to now from the beginning. Okay, good luck. Next riff's on the way. Okay, next riff. So we're doing this. This one's very, very similar to what you've done before, but this one's going to have some slides. Okay, so you're sliding a lot more in this one. Okay, and you hear it clearer at speed, but you'll understand what I mean when we go through it. So you're doing this same thing. You're becoming very aware of now of this repetitive nature of what Keith's doing. There's subtle changes each time. You're doing this slide across the D and G strings, and you're going to go 10th fret. So middle two strings, D and G, 10 sliding to 9, and then 9 you're going to hammer. Essentially, you're going to be hammering on with your index there on the 7. So okay, once you've done that, you're going to do exactly the same thing on the 2 strings above, the A and D. Okay, all of that little section together. Okay, and then you're going to have this really familiar ending. It's going to be regular throughout the piece. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3rd finger is going down on the 10th fret, index finger is staying where it is there on the 7th fret on the A and D strings. All of that together. Okay, good luck with it.